Hi everyone! In this video, I'll be trying to grow rosemary in a hydroponic system. I've tried this once on the channel before. We made some good progress, but eventually lost the plant, so I'm trying again. I'll be starting this rosemary journey in the same way I did before, with a package of rosemary cuttings from the local supermarket. There are a few small stem cuttings in here which should be able to propagate. I've had a bit of difficulty getting rosemary cuttings to root, but seem to have the best results when using bigger cuttings with thicker stems. I'm going to give these stems a fresh cut, clear lower leaves off of those stems, and put them into a jar, submerged about an inch or so in water so that they can propagate. 15 days later, one of our cuttings had multiple roots emerging. This was the only cutting that would grow roots. Again, I think the issue being that my cuttings were too small. By day 21, these roots were really getting long and beginning to branch out. I moved the plant into a net cup at this point and supported it with clay pebbles. The plant was given its own reservoir with water and nutrients inside. The plant would grow pretty quickly from here. The primary stem of our cutting was clipped at the top, so the plant was putting its energy into 4 separate stems. Each of these stems had a bunch of new leaf growth and looked healthy. I began pruning the plant to remove young branch sites emerging in the core of the plant. I want to encourage those 4 main stems to space out a bit before they branch out in all directions. 8 weeks in, our plant was still looking good, and the root system was a nice white color. I did, however, find a few leaves that I had pruned fell into the reservoir and now had mold growing on them. I gave these areas of the root system a quick bath in hydrogen peroxide to sterilize it. I rinsed the roots and moved the plant into a clean reservoir. The plant would rebound nicely from that and resumed growing. I was continuing to prune secondary branches as they emerged. Around week 13, I would begin some low-stress training, using pipe cleaners to help the plant spread out. I was refilling the reservoir as necessary, and generally the plant seemed to be doing good. As we entered week 16, things started to turn for the worse. We were still seeing good leaf growth up top, but our root health was beginning to fade. Our bright white roots are turning into a dull, deadish-looking gray, which doesn't seem great. The last rosemary plant I tried to grow in hydroponics died off at about this same time. Before leaving on a vacation, I gave that plant a nice full reservoir so it would have plenty to drink while I was gone. I would return to find a completely dead rosemary plant with black, rotted roots. This had me anxious about my current plant. As it turns out, rosemary is most happy in a Mediterranean climate known for long, dry summers. Wikipedia tells me that rosemary is drought tolerant and not able to withstand waterlogging. Hydroponic systems are the opposite of dry. Even worse, I have this plant growing in an aeration-free reservoir, Kratky style, probably making it even harder for this plant. To try and compensate for this, I left the reservoir mostly empty, pouring in small bits of nutrient solution at a time, and also trying to wet the root system as I did so. The reservoir was never more than 25% full. This new watering strategy seemed to work at first. We had some new white roots emerge, and the leaf growth up top was stronger than ever. By week 20 though, this rosemary had seen enough. The stems weakened and curled over, leaves lost their vigor, and again our root systems became a solid black. A sad end, but at least to me, this cemented some of the thoughts and lessons I had learned from the first attempt. I was afraid I had accidentally drowned that first plant, filling my reservoir too high before leaving the plant alone. Now I see that rosemary will effectively drown even in a small amount of water. I believe rosemary just doesn't like this Kratky hydroponic setup. Maybe aeration would help to unlock the growth potential of these plants. I'm not sure. If anyone has hydroponic rosemary knowledge, I would love to hear it. Please drop us a note in the comments. I'm not sure that it's even possible to grow these plants in a hydroponic system, and I'd recommend sticking to soil for all of your rosemary grows. Thanks for watching, and happy harvesting!